A letter of appreciation from the town of Spring Lake. This is also from Harrington Chapel. This is from one of the youth choir at the church, the Elks Lodge in Fayetteville. The piano is my favorite instrument, and I guess that's because I started on the piano. But there are certain songs that when you play it on the organ, it has almost a completely different meaning, and it's soothing. Organ music is, and I just love that. When I was in elementary school, we had a music teacher there, and she wanted to start a piano class. And of course, my grandmother, God rest her soul, enrolled me in the class. I really wasn't interested in it, but back then, whatever your parents said you were going to do, that was law and gospel. So I went every Saturday. Most of the time I was angry because Saturday was my play day. When Reverend Edgar Franklin Jones came to the church, he was, as I said, was an accomplished musician, and he was instrumental in getting the church to purchase our first organ. And they put it in the church, and he handed me the key, and he said, "You will play this organ." I used to watch television, and Liberace was just fascinating to me, how he played. And I used to say, well, maybe I can do that. So that was when I became interested. And then when I started playing for the church, I became interested in the hymns of the church, and that is basically my focus today, the hymns of the church. With hymns, they tell a story, and they come from the heart of the writer. I have a favorite hymn. It is Well With My Soul, and that song was written by a husband and father who had lost his wife and his children in a shipwreck. And through the sorrow and the hurt of that, he was still able to write the hymn. Through it all, it is still well with my soul. A lot of the Negro spirituals some of them were sung by our slaves, and they could tell the people if they were going to have a meeting, where it was going to be, and it all came through by the songs that they would sing out in the fields. If you have a broken spirit and you have a song that you can sing that will let you know that this broken spirit can be healed, that's all you need. If you are in trouble, there's nothing like singing, "Precious Lord, take my hand and lead me on." Or "Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound." I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see, who was written by a man who was a slave trader. And all of a sudden, he came to realize that what he was doing was not what it should have been. And he called out in that song, "Amazing Grace." Music is the foundation. It is what opens the service. It's what carries the service, with the exception of the word and it is what ends the service. If someone would just take the time and get our young folk together and give them the background of this music, that they would form an appreciation for it like I have. There's been a great change, and it's disheartening to me in a sense because I love the hymns of the church. And now we have an influx of what I call hip hop contemporary music. And I think the younger people are getting into the movement, the rhythm, and they aren't paying attention much to the words. They may take one word and they may say that one word 20 times. Well, why are you saying it 20 times? All you need to say it was one time. We got the message. And then a lot of the contemporary music, if you're listening to the radio, unless you listen to the words, you might get ready to snap your finger and get the bebopping, because that's the way it is. But that's what it seems like the younger generation wants these days. I think it's going to be a challenge to incorporate the contemporary or hip hop gospel with the standard church music, because there are a lot of gifted musicians around and they play beautifully. But what has happened is they are not trained musicians. They cannot read music, and they have no interest in learning how to read music. And I've seen it happen. I've been at conventions where we have musicians, and they may ask for a certain hymn for the choir or the congregation to sing. And you see the musicians scattering because they can't read it. They can carry the chord, but as far as playing the melody, most of them can't do it. And it's disheartening because these are young folk. It wouldn't take that much for them to learn how to read. There's nothing wrong with incorporating it into your service. I see nothing wrong with that. But I hate to see the hymns pushed on the back burner, because for me, I feel that they are the foundation of our music. I hope that there are people within these churches who have a desire and a love for the traditional church music to keep it alive. I have come to understand that what I do is a God-given gift. And therefore, with this gift, I have to do my best with it, and I have to share it. Because it is said that if you have a gift and you don't use it, God can take it. So through thick and thin, whether I'm feeling good or whether I'm feeling bad, if I can, I will do my best. And it's amazing. I have sung, and I have been sick enough to have been in bed. But I have learned that if there's something that you have to do, and you say, God, you're going to have to help me with this. When I open my mouth, my voice is just as clear as it can be. And after I finish, it's back to what it was.
Muriel's music, we were talking about what it does, how it helps people. Couple of Sundays I got to church late, and I'm standing outside of the door, and I hear her singing in the garden. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses. And that song at that time touched my heart so much. And the words of that song meant so much to me that I decided at that moment that when I die at my funeral, that's the song that I want to be sung at my funeral. That's
My
one
goodness.
of the songs. So now, Muriel, I never told you this before. You know what? You know, I want at least that one song.
Oh my
to be
goodness.
sung at my funeral.
It's good to know that what I do resonates with people, because I have been places, sometimes in a store, and someone will walk up to me and say, I know you. You played for this, that, or the other. You played for my mother's funeral, or you played at a banquet, or you sang, you did this. And the strange thing about it is I have no recollection of it because it had happened so far back. But it's good to know that what I do, people remember. This is also from Harrington Chapel. This is from the church. And this is the Heritage Keepers Award. That means that I have to maintain and keep what I do alive, and hopefully that it will inspire someone else to do what I've done the 60 years. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if I can show somebody that they're traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian ought, if I can bring back beauty to a world upright, if I can spread the message like the Master taught, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody, Lord, as I pass